right, so I'm Donnie. The webcam's not on, so I guess doesn't really mean much, but I did primarily the web service and helped out Harry and David when they needed help, pretty much. Oh, yeah, so I'm Donnie. I did the web service primarily, and I also helped out Harry and David as they needed the help, pretty much.
Hello, my name is David Ressler. I also helped out with a bunch of stuff because we're all coders, and I also did the GitHub manager and also database.
And I'm Harry, and I mostly handle the design of the website as well as doing some of the testing as we went along.
Yep. And what we have for you today is Kindling, which is a social media site for people who play Dungeons and Dragons to meet and try and find groups to play with. Because that's probably one of the hardest things that you can do is just in general meet people with a common interest and be able to actually make plans and meet up. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna sign up. We're gonna make some account. You can just ignore those because none of them are gonna be used. We're gonna do Rick is awesome at So now if we go and log in, oh, look at that, thank you. You can see that we signed in. This is our page. Initially, we were gonna go with more of like a Tinder style where you match with people, but then halfway through, we realized that if the goal is to try and, find people immediately and thinking of people that's like, oh, we have like 2 people in our group, we need, an extra 1 or 2. It made more sense that you'd have a list that you could just invite people to more immediately find them. So these are the people that use the site right now. You can go on, I'll hit details. You can see you have a profile image, your age, pronouns, description, someone else. This is the default profile image that every user will get whenever they sign up, which, speaking of which, this is the profile image for Rick right now. You can click the change profile picture. You can choose a file. Let's see if I can find it. There it is. And upload, which it's gonna take a little bit of time because of Azure, which I guess is a good time to mention that everything is hosted on Azure with our web service, database, and website. There it is. It finally went through. So now if we go back to the profile, look, there it is. You've successfully changed the profile image. And then we also have a thing for notifications for whenever you get invited to a group, that'll pop up. Yep, and then we can go to groups. We need to we forgot to set this part up. Go, Henry. Yeah, so I'll join Cat Crew and look, it says that I've joined. Oh, and some other people has joined as well. Whoa. Some messages. Got hi. Yeah. So that's the chat system. And then let's say you wanted to join the chat for one of the other groups, let's say Burger King Boys. You can see that they followed me there. And then you can go. And then you can click the details, see the details of each group. You can see the details of this group as well. And then I think that's everything for that. I think now we're going to go to David, where he's going to show off. We're going to try and show off the mobile app, and he's going to also show off the admin account. So I'm going to stop sharing. And then he's going to try and. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
So I'm gonna restart my app
Yeah.
because the David Ressler 20XX was actually the admin account that I have on my phone. Right now, I'm doing the biometrics. After I did the biometrics with my fingerprint, it authenticated, which then it'll also load up to the app. Which
There it
this
is.
is my Hello David Ressler 20XX that has the admin rights. I can edit and delete each user. I also have a profile as well. I could also edit as well. And I could also edit each and every group there is. You could also see each and every group as well through a table.
Right. And then now, so go ahead and unshare that. I'm gonna share my screen again, and then we're just gonna go through a PowerPoint with some of the highlights of our code. Okay. So before we get into this, I'm gonna cover this real quick. I forgot to put this in the PowerPoint. This is our Java web service, where what this does is it handles inserting the reference to the image into our database. And basically what it does as well is there's a junction table in case for expansion, where if we wanted to have multiple pictures for a person, we can have that table there that keeps track of like what image goes to what person basically. But that's the Java one. I'll minimize that. This, yeah. So this is the C# one I made to handle the actual upload of the image. This happened because for some reason, Java and Maven just didn't want to be compatible with the upload with the blob. So I got fed up with it and said, I'll try it in C# and it worked. So this is the code for that. Basically right now, if the image already, there's a safeguard where if the image already exists with that particular name, you can't upload it and you'll just be asked to re-upload, rename your image, basically. And then this is the bottom part of that. And then you can see right here, this is the call to the Java web service to actually insert the URL into our database. So all we have to do on our website is just make a call to this web service, and then it handles inserting into our database as well. And then this is what it looks like on the website. Basically, it's just doing a check to make sure there's an image there when you submit it. And then this is just creating the content, which is just the image, and then just adding the image to the content, and then making the post call to the controller I just showed, which again makes a call within itself to automatically insert the URL into the database through the Java web service. And then down here, basically, if this was successful in doing all that, we then get the URL to immediately display it. And then we go find the ID of the current user. And then in that junction table, we make another call where we have the user ID and the file name. So we can store the file name and the user, since the file name has to be unique already anyways. This is getting into some of the chat stuff. This is how we actually pass data to the JavaScript from our controller. Is just simply just making some tags and putting the data there. And then as soon as you get the data in JavaScript, it just wipes it clean, which will be shown here. Well, actually here, this is where we grab the data and then just remove the element that data is in. And I did it on a partial view just so our actual page isn't cluttered with extra stuff. Here, this is the button clicks. This top one is what happens whenever you click the group. Basically, what I did was I assigned the ID to be the image ID, and then I passed that through the parameter, so it's self-aware of which button was clicked. And then I assign the ID to a variable, basically, and then I set that as the channel so it's unique, because this is all running through a chat service pretty much. And then chat is simply where the messages show up. Button click down here, that's simply just whenever you hit the send button, it just sends a message. And it formats it so you get the time, you get the image, whatever was in the box, the input box. And now we're gonna move on to some of the database stuff.
Okay, so this part of the database, this was already auto-generated through ASP.NET. This is the identity portion of it, getting all the user info, IDs, emails, passwords, stuff like that. It also auto-encrypts the passwords into its own encryption. And it also, as well, assigns roles to some users, which I can go in and assign a certain role for admin access, which is one, my emails, which I also used on my phone, as previously shown. This is pretty much the rest of the ER diagram. This is the city code, experience, groups, and you can also see the junction group that was also shown as well. Now you can join each and every group, whatever you wanted. You also have the group images and the images, which also keeps hold of the image data, so it keeps that on a website. And every time you go to a profile, it also shows the correct image at that time. Notifications, it holds the notification data throughout, no matter what you have. And user profiles and ASP.NET users, they are connected through the IDs, just to show that it keeps the user info at all times. So we made a couple triggers. This first trigger keeps the info, the ID, and the ID image ID, which is the file name, and make sure it has that data before going into the profile page, which will show the correct profile image. This next trigger will keep the ID and email consistent throughout different profiles that you have.
And then to just finish off the presentation and just have some examples of the CSS and styling that we used in the website. So here we can see some of the buttons and the managing account page that have been changed up to fit some sort of theme and style. Here we can see the button styling that I've used. Just pretty much brown with a brown outline. Nothing too special, just to look nice. Here it is as an example in one of the pages. We can also see here that certain things are hidden for regular users as compared to the administrator. And then here's the styling for the managing account page, the links that were on that page. Here are those links with their styling. And that's it.